Midnight Special is written and directed by Jeff Nichols and stars Michael Shannon and Joel Edgerton. Alton Myers is an 8-year-old boy who is special. Not in the same way that little Jemima is special because she can do a bloody pirouette. Alton has seizures, speaks in tongues, and can shoot light out of his eyes and mouth. Special. Because of these abilities, amongst others that Alton has, several different groups want him for several different reasons. The government essentially believe he is a weapon. The essentially religious cult that Alton's birth father did belong to and his adoptive father is the leader of, believe he is salvation. Basically, they believe he is the second coming of Christ, for want of a better term. However, Alton's birth father, Michael Shannon, and an old friend of his, Joel Edgerton, have taken Alton because they believe he needs to be in a very specific place at a very specific time. It's hard to go into the plot in any more detail without giving spoilers, which I will do in the spoiler section of this video. However, if you haven't seen the film yet, I strongly recommend not watching the spoiler section because you owe it to yourself to go into this with as much of a blank slate as you can do, I would say. That being said, I really enjoyed this film for a couple of main reasons. The writing is, for the most part, excellent. There are a couple of, I would say, minor flaws. It's a couple of things that never really explained sufficiently for me. But I wouldn't let that detract from what is an otherwise pretty excellent plot and script. The acting, however, that I think is where this really shines. The young boy playing Alton, I believe his name is Jaden Lieberher. I might have got that slightly wrong, but he was good in that I wasn't irritated by a child actor every single bloody time he was on screen. That's good enough for me, I'm going to be honest with you. The two shining lights for this film, though, easily Michael Shannon and Joel Edgerton. They were both fantastic, playing these two guys who have come together again after being friends in the past. They're coming from two different places, but they worked really well together, and I really enjoyed how they were on screen, and their performances in general I thought were fantastic. The other thing I think needs credit is the visual effects, because this film, I don't know what the budget is, but I wouldn't have thought it was that big, honestly, and the visual effects could have come off really cheesy, and they don't. Every time that Alton uses his powers, or more accurately his powers strike him, I suppose, it could have come off as cheesy, the light coming out of his eyes and mouth, for example, and it just doesn't. It really comes off well, and there are a couple of scenes which are absolutely spectacular. They really are. Really good job on the visual effects. The soundtrack as well, I really enjoyed the soundtrack and score. It had, for me, quite an 80s vibe, but it really worked. This film is really well acted, well directed, and frankly it was just telling a story that I really enjoyed. I'll go into more details in the spoiler section, but if you haven't seen the film, please don't watch that yet. If you have seen the film, then I'll see you in the spoiler section. Other than that, however, thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Welcome to the spoiler section. So Alton is a being from another world, a world more advanced than ours, whose inhabitants basically study us. Honestly, I had no problem with this being the outcome of the film, mainly because they realistically had to go one of two ways. They had to go either religion or aliens, and to be honest, I don't think I'd have had a problem with either of them being the eventual outcome, as long as it was done well. And for me, this was done well. It made sense and was, logic is a strong word, but you know what I mean. It was logical within the confines of this story, of this plot, and it was done logically and it was done reasonably. And the reveal of the alien city at the end was absolutely fantastic, truly spectacular, and I really loved that. There are some minor blips, especially in the plot, mainly towards the end of the film. How is Sevier still working on this case, much less interviewing Lucas? And more to the point, why aren't Lucas and Roy being believed by the end of this film, since everyone saw that alien city. It's not like it was a bloody secret. But other than that, I'm not going to let those minor blips get in the way of what is otherwise a very good film. The overwhelming good qualities of the film, for me, far exceed any minor blips in it. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.